It's the dawn of a new season in college basketball, and live from Rock Hill, South Carolina, it's the Field of 68's opening day marathon to get the year started. It's Christmas morning around the sport. Congratulations, everybody. You made it. Paul Fritchner, Randolph Childress, and Jeff Goodman with you all day long. 3 here from Rock Hill, 3 from the Sanford Pentagon and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's the Field of 68's opening day marathon. 6 games for you, Jeff Goodman.
This is what we were waiting for, right? Tried to put together something that could start the season. You know, we had the ESPN, the marathon years ago. That went away. The Field of 68, we're trying to get this thing back. Next year, we're going to go 24. This year, we got 6 games, 3 here in Rock Hill, 3 in Sioux Falls. We start out Queens, a team that's picked to win the league in the A-Sun against the Winthrop program that Greg Marshall, Pat Kelsey, now Mark Prosser takes over.
What a matchup, what a way to start. I mean, we're talking about a matchup of, again, a team that's preseason picked first in the tournament. We think they will win the tournament provided they stay healthy, punch their ticket to the NCAA. But Winthrop is a team coming off a conference championship loss themselves. So both teams' expectations to get to the NCAA, just a perfect way to start the college basketball season here.
All 3 games all day long here. Fantastic games. After this one, you have Bradley and St. Bonaventure, then Furman and High Point later. There are storylines all over the place. New coaches, familiar faces, old teams, new teams out of the portal, teams picked to win their conference, teams trying to gather momentum for their program. Everything all day gives us plenty to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of this is, again, you come out of the gates with some good games, meaningful games. You know, the season, we got certainly Florida, Arizona tonight, but there's a lot of bye games on the slate today. We wanted good matchups, and again, we got them. St. Bonaventure, Bradley, going to be a great game with 2 incredible coaches, Brian Wardle and Mark Schmidt in the second game. Tonight, here, Furman, High Point. You're talking about High Point might be the best team in the country in terms of a one-bid, you know, mid-major team that has a chance maybe to be an at-large team.
You're going to have a lot of these coaches that you're going to be looking at pretty soon, and they're going to be high major coaches. Yeah. I mean, they're just outstanding in what they do. I mean, you're going to watch. We're starting here with Queens. They're concept-based. These guys are so energetic in what they do. Their offense is so innovative and so modern. And then you go back not to just slate Winthrop. I mean, their style, they're tough, they're physical, they get downhill, put pressure on your defense. Just watching some high-level coaching going on here. The future's bright for some programs scouting these teams as well. Winthrop,
of course, campus adjacent here to Rock Hill. And what a venue we have here at the Rock Hill Sports and Entertainment Complex down here. Just a fantastic spot. We're going to have some great crowds. I believe the first session here of these 2 games either sold out or close to sold out. Crowds all day long in all 3 games that I believe will provide, as we've said, some really high quality basketball. And we've seen it. It is 8 a.m. here in South Carolina, and this place is jumping. There is just nothing like the sport of college basketball, and we have finally made it back to get ready for this season. We can run through the starting lineups here. First for Winthrop, Isaiah Wilson gets the start. Kareem Rozier, Dalen Berry, Cody Cluett, and Logan Duncombe, your starting 5 for Winthrop. And then on the other side for Queens, Nazir Mann, Maban Jambreel, Chris Ashby, Yovav Berman, and Avante Parker, your starters for Queens.
And we got an interesting start here with styles of play to see who tries to exert their dominance here early. Both teams want to be physical. Who controls the glass will go a long way toward this game. And I think the other thing we're not talking about is it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I think Queens has the advantage because they practice at 6 a.m. every morning. Let's see if they can take advantage of this early start.
Here we go, out to the jump circle. The ball is up and we are underway in 2025-2026. Winthrop controls the tip. Officials today, John Wall, Jordan Arnold, and Drew Ransdell. as Winthrop gets the season going here on the offensive end. Winthrop in the white, Queens in the blue.
This is where Logan Duncan's got to be big for these guys. When the half-court sets doesn't work, they're either going to dribble, drive, attack the rim, but they're going to try to establish him early. They need to get him going. He's got to be a double-double guy for these guys.
2 fouls in the first 23 seconds of this game.
And that's something we want to watch. I mean, that's part of Winthrop's game. This team scored almost 20 points a game from the free throw line, and they're already establishing their identity with 2 quick fouls drawn in 20 seconds.
Logan Duncan skying in for the offensive rebound. Wilson on the drive. Tough finish to lift the lid on the scoring this season.
That's critical for the Eagles. I think they're looking to establish who's that third scorer going to be. And great sign for Rozier getting it. Wilson getting to the rim, taking the contact and finishing.
Now we'll see Queens. This is a matchup, Randolph, as we were talking about, of contrasting styles. Winthrop wants to get out and run, one of the fastest teams in the country. Queens, they're content to run some sets. Rozier off the mark.
Well, Queens wants to run more of a concept base here. As you see Berman initiating offense, they don't need a traditional point guard. They're going to space you.
Duncan flying out for the block of Nazir Mann.
And you can already see Winthrop, their defensive philosophy is just get back and match up and get a body there. Duncan closing out in the corner. They're going to have to just find a body and put 5 on 5.
Remember, Duncan, a guy who's a recruit coming out of high school. He played with for 2 years in Indiana. Goes to Xavier, quits. And he said to me yesterday, his mental state is much better now. Finally has a chance to be a starter, be a guy for a team this year.
Queens will try another 3, and that is something that we'll see all morning long. Queens, a team that loves to attack off the perimeter. Cody Cluett losing the ball out of bounds, but it was poked from behind by Chris Ashby.
Chris Ashby doesn't like the call, but I think the official's trying to let him know he was either going to call a foul, but they maintained possession.
Winthrop coming off a season in which they went 23-11 overall, 11-5 in the Big South. The Eagles lost by 12 to High Point, who we'll see later today, was in the Big South title game last year. Well, lost his footing there, did Isaiah Wilson, and a turnover gives it back to Queens.
You don't mind that possession, even though it's a turnover, it's a dead ball turnover. You get to establish your defense, and more importantly, you got another paint touch if you're Winthrop, and that's what they want to do. Get in the paint.
These teams 0 for 5 combined from 3, but spinning to the rim and attacking off the dribble, Avante Parker. The note I have to headline Avante Parker, a finisher at the rim, and he certainly spun his way there.
It's a tough matchup for Logan Duncan there. Avante Parker off the bounce with his athleticism and quickness can be a problem for Logan Duncan.
These teams still trying to find their rhythm from beyond the arc.
Both teams seem to be a little bit sped up right now. Again, the excitement, the season's just kicking off. I expect them to get through the first TV timeout before they start settling down, maybe get to the bench, get some guys in who had a chance to kind of see the game. You see guys already kind of gasping for air already. Just the excitement of playing someone else and not off the practice they've been doing for the last 45 days.
There's Cluett from distance. Cody Cluett on his 4th school here at Winthrop. Started at St. Catherine's, then went to Southeastern Oklahoma State in San Diego. They averaged almost 9 a game last year. Now here to Winthrop. And an offensive foul called on Berman.
Berman lowered that shoulder there on the drive. I think he has a size advantage when he's driving. He can just elevate and shoot over. And here he gets the angle there. I think he sells it a little bit there, you know.
See, Ed Namoko in for the first time for Winthrop today. The Eagles going to their bench. Deep three. Namoko there for the offensive board. Queens will look to get out and run. And
so far, this game is being played the way Winthrop is wanting to play. They're getting the ball in the paint. They're getting offensive rebounds. They got to muck the game up and junk it up a little bit. Queens wants to play concept, space the floor, drive the paint, spread you out. And right now, individually, Winthrop is winning their matchups.
How unique is it, Randolph, to have an 8 a.m. tip like this? No shoot around, you're waking up early, team meal, the whole rhythm thrown off.
It feels like an NCAA game early on. You know, like the very early morning games, but they're not even 8 o'clock in the morning. But again, this is where I expected to see Queens come out with a little bit more energy, and they're playing hard. They're just not as effective yet, and a lot of that is with Winthrop. Winthrop is answering the bell because I'm sure they heard all about Queens starting practice at 6 a.m. But Barry doesn't care anything about that. He's showing you why he averaged 14 a game in preseason all-second team Big South. So.
And then another offensive foul on Queens that'll wipe away a possession. Although a conversation here between the two officials on the far side. Get another look at what we just saw.
Got to allow the defender room.
Yeah, and they'll call that on Safe and Dawi.
That's great communication with the officials. You get pushed into the screen. We're watching the ball, the other officials watching the screen happen, and he's saying that you got pushed into the screen. Great defense here.
Cluett trying to attack, kicks it out, and Dawi. Man, nearly lost it, gave it to Ashby.
A lot of dribbling by Queens. The ball isn't moving, the bodies aren't moving.
Passed up a look at the rim. Instead, a kick out three for Berman. Scored in double figures in 13 games last year. Was third on the team in scoring. And they said they want him to shoot more threes this year. And another offensive foul. Catch your breath, everybody. The college basketball season is underway. We'll go to a break. Be right back on the Field of 68's opening day marathon.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
Oh no, we can't be asleep already. Just one media timeout into the season. It's all right, plenty of basketball upcoming here over the next 5 months. Again, live from Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's the first game of the day of the season, first game of the Field of 68's opening day marathon. And both teams starting to settle in here through the first media timeout, knocking down a couple of threes. Winthrop leading it by 3.
Yeah, it's been a start. You expected, nervous. Guys' nerves being a big part of this slow start, just from a shooting standpoint. But the energy's there, the effort's there. You expect that to continue. But I've really been impressed with Winthrop. Just doing this, just being really disruptive on the defensive end. With Queens being so concept-driven, they're being really physical at the point of attack.
Rozier step back, had some space briefly. Active hands from Rozier to even create this possession. Ndawe, bit of a size advantage here, working into the paint, flipping it around. And it's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay on this end with the Eagles.
It's going to be interesting now with Berman on the bench. They bring in now Jordan Watford, the highest rated recruit in Queens history, a point guard, local kid from about an hour away. He's got a ton of friends and family here today. Uber talented, but how is he going to adjust to his first game playing on this stage at 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning?
Coach is really high on him, says he's going to play about 20, 25 minutes a game. They need a spark coming off right now because the experience of Winthrop and the physicality at the point of attack with the ball, it seemed to be bothering Queens early.
And Camerad throws that one out of bounds, trying to feed it down into Logan Duncombe. Duncombe back in the game. Long 3 off the mark from Chris Ashby. Batted around. What an environment we have here at 8:15 in the morning. Watford, tough passing lane to Mann, around and out. Up ahead, hesitation. Camerad.
Great pass by Rozier. He's been terrific. He's been the best player on the floor, for the first 6 minutes, bringing energy, creating opportunities for other players. This is a kid who played a lot of basketball at Duquesne, transferred in, is kind of going to be the guy here for Winthrop.
And he's the coach on the floor. Yeah. And he needs to be the third guy. It's not just his scoring. He creates for so many others, but I think he's going to be asked to take on a larger scoring role, something he hasn't done in this past.
See underneath. Camerad there. So basket on one end, the block on the other. This is Camerad's 6th year of college basketball. Spent his first 2 at Otero College, 2 years at Arkansas Tech, and now this is his 2nd year at Winthrop.
He's older than you, Paul.
Oh, look, a tough angle there for Gus Larson. Cal transfer from New Canaan, Connecticut.
Great screen and slip there and finish.
Talked a lot yesterday about Dalen Berry, and he's going to go to the free throw line, Randolph Childress.
This is the game right there. Can you contain the dribble for Queens? This is what Winthrop does. They're going to put their head down, play a physical style, attack you. And can they hold up to 40 minutes of the physicality? Really on both ends. Because on certain possessions down here, Winthrop is just being really, really disruptive, and Queens can't get into their offensive concepts.
Berry to the free throw line, knocks it down. Winthrop beat Georgia Southern 96-91 in an exhibition, coming off a season in which they closed strong, won 10 of their last 12 games. They had to add 8 transfers out of the portal. This is the first, now we call it a neutral game because there's a foul underneath. We call this a neutral game, although it's right across from Winthrop's campus. It's their first neutral game since 2022.
Yeah, I love that both teams played in this game, right? 2 local teams. Obviously, Winthrop's got a little bit of an advantage, being that you can walk here, but not too far for Queens. Big shot by Berman, who looks more comfortable right now off the ball.
Well, I think that was the question and concern that they had was point guard, and they're putting Berman on the ball, so it's adding to his responsibility. He's your 3rd leading scorer a year ago, and so far he's been your best offensive player.
I like Watford on the ball better right now.
Yes.
We go back here and take a look at that three from the corner.
That's just Berman moving without the ball. He reads the defender. He cuts under the screen. Berman bumps to the corner, and you've got to get there on him. I mean, he's a 40% three-point shooter. He's knocked down 2 here early. You've got the lock and trail on him, and can't let him out of your sight.
A lot of contact there coming around the screen. And another three, Boyagano. He was a double-figure scorer in 10 games last year at Gardner-Webb, had a couple of double-doubles. And then on the other end, Winthrop again making a statement. A lot of energy from this Eagles team.
And as you can start feeding off it, and second block they have. Just a great job there by Hamilton coming over and impacting the game without on the defensive end of the floor. Not worried about offense right now.
Working into the middle for Larson. Going back to the left. Off the window, Gus Larson had that one in the paint kind of reverse a couple minutes ago, and then there with the left. And he's brought Queens within 2.
He's getting his offense by screening for others and then slipping those screens.
Good work on the glass, but the foul wipes it away. It'll go against Winthrop.
And Mark Prosser doesn't like the call. He loves the physicality his guys are playing with. When these shots goes up, Hamilton comes in and clearly pushes Berman in the back. The call was a little delayed, but it was the right call.
Yeah, team's 5th foul. Both teams with 5 fouls. Nobody has more than 1. Watford underneath, slip into the bucket. Parker.
And that's something Berman probably can't do. He's not quick enough to get into the lane and then make that play with that vision. I know Grant Leonard wants to play Berman at the point. I'm not sure that Watford's not the best option for him, even looking in the first 8 minutes of this game.
I agree with you, Jeff. This size coming off that ball screen just makes plays for everyone else.
Clark way too strong on that one. Winthrop looks to push. Wilson some hesitation.
These teams are playing really physical as well, and the officials are letting them play.
Trapped in the post, trying to find an angle, nothing there. An easy board for Avante Parker. Queens 4 for their last 5 from the field. Off the mark.
Good look, though.
It's another look there by Walford. Yep. It's just his size. He's looking over the defense.
There's a foul on the left side. That's a couple now on man. And we'll head to break. Tied at 14 on the field of 68's opening day marathon.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
What does it mean to be an ultimate outsider? Find out on a journey from the beaches of the Atlantic to the Blue Ridge Mountains, where you can unearth new outdoor adventures around every turn. And if you've got what it takes, visit all of South Carolina's state parks to become an ultimate outsider. Start your journey at southcarolinaparks.com. Come out and play.
Been a back and forth first 9 minutes of this game, but we find ourselves locked at 14. Paul Fritchner, Randolph Childress, Jeff Goodman with you. Here from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Queens and Winthrop will be followed at 11 a.m. by St. Bonaventure and Bradley. What a game that is at the mid-major level. Two high-powered teams. Then it'll be Furman and High Point.
I think what you've seen early is Winthrop's come out with a level of aggression, and Queens has now answered that call. They've knocked down a couple of shots, but both teams are relying on their physicality in their defense, and more importantly now, they're starting to rebound the basketball and get it and settle down here. I think the offense will start to pick up here in the second half of the first half.
Coming off a screen, Camarad. He has made a significant impact here already to start this game. Now up to 5 points. He's Winthrop's leading scorer.
And it's by committee with Winthrop. You know, we know they got a couple of guys that we're expecting Logan Duncan to be a second leading scorer behind Barry. But it's going to be a different guy, a different night for this team all year long.
6 on the timer, and that foul by Kareem Rozier kind of bails out Queens. Rozier, he's found there. Camarad coming around on top of the wing.
Yeah, Camarad just stepping into a shot. And you got to know Rozier's looking to find guys. You got to defend him by trying to make him a scorer.
Berman looking for an angle. This is to Parker against Duncombe. Hands straight up, and he lost his footing.
That's just great defense there by Duncan. Just holding his size, holding his ground, putting his chest on Parker. Parker's advantage is facing up on the perimeter and driving him. If he gets the ball within 6 to 8 feet and try to back down Logan Duncan, he's not going to win that matchup.
Everything outside the perimeter right now. Rozier was looking for a 3 off the screen, instead feeds to Duncombe. Berman feeding off again, Parker. And he's pushed from the side. That'll go against Logan Duncombe.
We're talking about Berman. I think the player we haven't talked about yet is the ASUN player, the preseason player of the year, and that's Chris Ashby. He's got to assert himself, Jeff, and start getting looks and be assertive and aggressive.
Yeah, 38% three-point shooter for his career. A guy who's gotten open looks so far this morning, just hasn't made them. And Ashby, one of the best shooters in the country, a guy who set the single-season record for threes. Needs 63 threes to break the school record set by Chris Benson back in 2003. So Ashby's going to get going. It's just a matter of time.
Made 115 threes last year at 38%. That is a lot of threes.
He was 9th in the country with those 115 threes. And the travel, Camarad lost his footing.
They're coming out of timeout. Queens will do a little running and jumping, be disruptive. You look at their offense, their 5 out, their spacing, and you just don't notice the level of physicality and their identity on the defensive end of the floor themselves.
Looking to get Ashby more involved here to start. Berman flying around for another 3. Queens on a bit of a scoring drought right now. Mio, haven't called his name yet today. Duncan was fighting for it.
If you're Queens, you've got to rebound the basketball with 2 hands. Great job by Berman there. Guarding the basketball, showing his hands, putting his chest on the driver and not fouling. Look for some play for Barry.
Right underneath to him, he's trapped, he's got to get out of it. And a foul. That's on Berman, that's his second.
You got to know baseline out of bounds for Winthrop. They're trying to get Barry going, and I thought it was a really good job there by Queens. Unfortunately, they got the foul called.
This will send Dalen Berry to the line. Almost 14 points a game last year. Charleston Southern transfer. He had 27 in the exhibition against Georgia Southern. Winthrop picked 5th in the Big South preseason poll. High Point picked 1st. We'll see High Point later today. But they lost 4 double-digit scores last year, or from last year, did Winthrop. But this is where they really make their mark. They averaged 19 points from the line last year. Nobody gets to the free throw line better than Winthrop does.
And they spread it around.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing. When I talked to Mark Plausser, who's in his 4th year now, did 3 at Western Carolina, he said one of the things guys know when they come here, they're probably not going to average 20 points a game. But he finds high character guys who fit this style of play. And that's important to him. And that's, I think, what they've done with some of these guys. Rozier, certainly, Barry, they fit this style well.
If you love to play attacking offense, a coach that gives you freedom on the offensive end of the floor, oh, God knows I would have loved it. But he allows his guys to play. I mean, he's giving you freedom to play. He's just asking you to defend at a really high level. Get out and run in transition and be unselfish with your aggressiveness. And that's the type of group that he's collected here. And they're a tough out. I mean, they're picked 5th, and it wouldn't surprise either one of us again if they're back in the Big South Conference Championship game, you know, in late February, early March.
And they're only picked 5th because people don't know these names.
Absolutely.
I mean, with these preseason polls now, it's rolling the dice. You have no idea what you're doing. They lost so much.
Yes.
And let's face it, Queens is picked 1st in their league. Why? Because they returned a bunch, including Chris Asprey.
Without question.
Off the mark there on that 3. And out in transition, quick 3. How about that answer? Little point to the bench from Cody Cluett.
The ball comes out of Cluett's hand. He's so confident right now. That's a turnover here. He's coming out. He's shooting the basketball at a high clip. He only shot at 31%. He's already knocked down 2 threes here. Just getting out and running. This is nothing but effort. Steps into rhythm 3. Cluett doesn't care anything about the percentages. He's feeling it right now.
Winthrop out to a 6-point edge.
Queens in a 1-3-1 now, trying to shake things up.
Queens doesn't have a field goal in over 4 minutes. Try another 3. Yes, sir! It's all Eagles right now. 25-16. Eagles getting hot from beyond the line. 9-point edge for Winthrop.
Before a city turns to you for answers, before the stories that need telling are told, and our nation's biggest companies look to you to make their next big move. Whenever, however, you're called upon to step up, Queens will prepare you to do just that. Because here, Royals rise.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm 101, number 1, we the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup, 101, number 1, we the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup, that's a hole in one. Yeah, I'm 101, number 1, we the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup.
It's an 8-0 run over the last 78 seconds for Winthrop as they have now extended their lead to their largest of the game. But the problem for Queens is they just haven't really been able to get anything easy lately. Almost 4.5 minutes Randolph without a bucket.
They credit Winthrop's defense. Man, they've been disruptive, they've been physical, and more importantly, they look like they're starting to wear Queens down there, that stretch. They're getting easy baskets, they're crashing the glass, they're getting deflections. Queens has got to come back and establish themselves with physicality on the defensive end of the floor. They're going to make shots, and someone else has to step up and create offense for himself or others aside from Berman right now. And it needs to be number 11, Chris Ashby.
Well, I think Watford gave him a spark, too.
Yes, I thought he was really good.
That, to be honest, I would have back in the game right now. There's a big shot for Ashby. Get him going again. We talked about him, one of the best three-point shooters in the entire country. You got to get him looks.
Chris Ashby's first points of the game. Winthrop trying to answer. No, but the ball kicks around, and there it is. Ends up in the hands of Namoko.
Namoko tips it, falls down, and again, the guards of Queens have got to help rebound the basketball right now. They just can't rely on the bigs who's battling inside against the physical size of Winthrop front line.
Berman a size advantage against Rozier. Gets switched on to Barry. Rozier there with the quick hands. Second time we've seen that already this morning. Barry and the foul.
Tell you what, Rozier's been terrific so far.
He's controlled the game. Rozier has not shown, it doesn't show up always on the stat line, but he's been the most impactful player here, guarding the basketball, picking Berman's pocket off the dribble, creating an opportunity here, and Barry's doing what he's been doing all his life, just driving, attacking, and scoring.
Yeah, Rozier is the vocal leader of this team. You can see it. Played a lot of basketball through Kane. Kind of had his role changed last year with the new coach came in. Remember, recruited by Keith Damrock. Damrock retires. They bring in a guy in Drew Joyce that just didn't feel like he was able to play the game that you're seeing him play right now, which is with freedom.
And that's great. You'd love to have point guards that want to play with freedom, but he has a 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio, which is 10th in the country a year ago. He defends, he plays hard, takes care of the basketball, and unselfish player. It's what you want out of your point guard.
5 on the timer. Ashby looking to create, and he hits it right as the shot clock goes off. Ashby started 0 for 3 from the field. Now he's hit his last 2 shots. 5 points now on the morning.
Phenomenal defense there, just better offense. I mean, the defense was great. That's just Chris Ashby doing Chris Ashby-like things.
Duncombe cleans it up.
Another offensive rebound and putback. The guards of Queens have got to get on the glass and help out.
And then Duncombe just throws it away. Those were Duncombe's first points of the morning. A couple of boards now to go along with that one bucket. The one
question Queens had is talking about point guard play. Yep. And right now, Kareem Rozier is controlling this entire game. And Jeff, you and I thought the freshman Jordan Walford seemed to settle the group down. I know they run a concept-based offense, but they've got to get more guys going to help beat guys off the dribble.
Berman's had some really good looks. Couple of chances now for man, and a foul will send him to the line.
Great job by man, getting on the glass himself. He's a big guard at 6'5". He is the leader of this Queens group. He's not always their best player, but when you talk to Grant Leonard, he says man has been at the front of the line, talking, communicating, leading this group, and they've been punched in the mouth here in the last 5 minutes of this game, and he's trying to make an impact.
And Nazir Mann, a McDonald's All-American nominee on high school. His younger brother, Trey Mann, really now on the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, unfortunately for Trey, went from Oklahoma City to the Charlotte Hornets. not exactly ideal.
I believe he may have had a nosebleed there.
Yeah, I think he got popped on that offensive rebound.
And the big thing is, again, Grant Leonard trying to get his 3 best guards on the court at the same time. But is that the best fit?
I think he's trying to figure it out. I mean, when I talked to him a week ago, he just said, hey, I just asked him, what were your starters? He named everyone else, and I said, what about your point guard? He said, we're kind of going by committee to see how it goes here. And I think Trey Mann's got popped on that offensive rebound there by Logan Dunkel. He's not coming out of the game.
No. You could see him ask to get that left nostril plugged up, and he's all good to go. He'll go back to the line. Hit the first, now trying to hit the second. Man averaged a little over 6.5 a game last year. One of the leaders of this team, no doubt about it.
A lot of times in these early games, you got to throw away stats from a year ago because these guys are transferring and their roles are changing, and some of these guys are getting more opportunity to showcase their talent.
Rozier will try a 3. Hey, all 3 of us were talking yesterday about how much more difficult it is to get to know a team now than it ever has been, not only because of those opportunities for new players, but because of, like you just said, Randolph, the different roles on the teams changing and how much different all these teams look now.
And both of these coaches have said that. They're trying to figure that out with their team. They're just playing in their concepts and what they do, but they're trying to still learn their team, which is everyone is early in the season.
Rozier picks the pocket, 3rd time today, to the bucket with the left, no, but to follow, yes. And Dawi there.
That possession, Jeff, is just indicative of this game. It's Frazier just at the point of attack, controlling the pace. Look at where Queens is initiating their offense. I don't care what concept you run. No one starts their concepts unless you're Steph Curry from 30 feet.
And they're speeding them up.
Yes.
I mean, that's what they're doing right now. They're forcing Queens to play at a pace that, honestly, I'm not sure if they're comfortable playing at right now.
And they're doing it with a level of physicality as well, man.
Cluett given some space. He'll track down his own board.
Just another offensive rebound, though. They're just outworking Queens right now.
And a foul as Ndawe tried to drive. And that'll send us to our final media of the first half. Scoring is picked up in the last few minutes, a 7-point edge for Winthrop.
We all know the Players Era Festival has become the best field in all of college basketball. And you have the opportunity to win a VIP trip to the Players Era Festival in Las Vegas, thanks to our partners over at BetMGM. Here's how it works. Opt into the contest and start placing bets on any sport of at least $10 with plus 100 odds or greater. When you do that, you earn leaderboard points based on the bet's odds and the amount that you wager. The more you bet, the higher the odds, the more points that you earn. The top players in that contest are going to win a prize package that includes tickets to the games, withdrawable funds for travel, a 4-night stay at the luxurious Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas, and more. For the full list of prizes, look in the description below. Make the tournament legendary with BetMGM. Vegas is calling. You gonna answer?
What does it mean to be an ultimate outsider? Find out on a journey from the beaches of the Atlantic to the Blue Ridge Mountains, where you can unearth new outdoor adventures around every turn. And if you've got what it takes, visit all of South Carolina's state parks to become an ultimate outsider. Start your journey at southcarolinaparks.com. Come out and play.
Teams are getting up and down the court in a big way right now. A lot of threes flying around. See 29 attempted threes so far, and there's still about 4 minutes left in this first half. Shots are getting up, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, you see the nerves being a part of it. I think the biggest difference is second chance points right now. 13, 6, 7-point difference was difference in the game. It's when Queens get an offensive rebound, they have 7, but they're spraying it out, getting back into their concept. When Winthrop rebounds it, they're just putting it right back in the basket, and that's the biggest difference right now in this game.
Head coach Mark Prosser in his 5th season with Winthrop. 2-0 versus Queens, 5-0 versus the A-Sun. Winthrop leads this all-time series 5-2. Winthrop lost the first 2 against Queens. And then now the Eagles have won 5 straight, trying to make it 6 today. Queens looking to snap that skid.
Winthrop has had 9 players score so far. Yeah. You know who hasn't scored? The best player on the floor, Kareem Rozier.
Yeah.
Has not scored, but he's got 5 assists, no turnovers. Again, it's been unbelievable defensively, creating opportunities.
Yeah, he has 3 steals.
Just running the team, providing energy, making the right decisions. Missed a couple shots here lately, but again, I think he's been the spark that this team needed so far today.
And Dawi at the line, played for the NBA Africa Academy, won the 2021 FIBA U16 African Championship, transferred from Loyola Chicago, and talked to Mark Prosser yesterday, said Ndawi maybe has the highest ceiling. His upside is tremendous. Love what they have in him.
And this is what I talked about, the offensive rebound. Berman instincts is to push it back out when they get an offensive opportunity again, and it gives Winthrop a chance to reset their defense.
And he's 6'6", 225.
Right.
Why not go back up with it, at least try to draw the foul there? Well, there you go, Ashby with another 3. And if he gets hot, he's going to keep them in the game here. They're only down 6 with 3:20 left.
Winthrop's largest lead was at 11 a few minutes ago. Now it's down to 6. Queens working their way back into it. Rozier still looking for his first points. To the bucket, a tough one for Namoko. He's up to 4.
That's just too easy. Great job spinning baseline there and finishing. I think Queens is going to have to either front the post or trap the post inside.
High degree of difficulty for man. Step into the bucket, nowhere to go. Flying in for that one was Namoko. But it'll go the way of the Royals.
And Jeff, one thing we talked about concepts and point guards with Queens. Not having a traditional point guard, I think you get possessions like you've gotten a couple times with man. There's no passes. He's just coming down. And to your point you made earlier, the pressure is speeding him up and he's just attacking. Whereas a traditional point guard would be able to handle that pressure and just get you into some offense.
Ashby, another 3. Kick out Berman. Off the mark. And another offensive rebound. But it's poked away. No numbers.
That's a really good possession there by Queens to come up empty-handed. Just spacing you, shooting, offensive rebound, and they still come up empty. More possessions like that, you're back in this game for sure for the Queens.
Well, they've gotten on the offensive glass lately.
Yeah.
As you said, that's where they were kind of dominated early. They've started, and they've got big guards.
Yes.
So you should be able to, Berman should be able to, but I think a big part of it now, you've got him up top playing the point.
I think they missed him earlier there. He had Rozier on the post.
To the bucket. They'll count it with 90 seconds left in the first half. Queens can cut it to 5.
This is another game within the game. As you see Larson there, he's done it off screens, he cuts, and that time he just fakes the DHO and turns the corner. Their ability to face up the bigger front line of Winthrop and attack them off the bounce is their advantage.
Namoko called for the foul. That's his second.
Lawson's been really good here in the first half.
Taking a look there at the top of the key. Duncombe sets the screen. Mio. And Queens, here we go, Randolph. can cut it down to a one-possession game.
They're fighting, and their guards have got to dig in. You can just see Winthrop weak side. Their guards are flying in, getting their hands on loose balls. Queens lucky to retain possession there.
1:02 to go. A timeout taken in a 5-point game, and that gives us a chance to talk a little bit more about this one. We, again, got 2 more here from Rock Hill, have 3 games from the Sanford Pentagon and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It is the Field of 68's opening day marathon. What an event here, put on by Visit York County. Not too far, about a half hour south of Charlotte, North Carolina, and in walking distance to Winthrop's campus.
It's a great venue.
Spectacular venue here. Rock Hill Sports and Events Center.
I mean, Queens has answered the bell. I mean, they have, you know, they're here in Charlotte, but it feels like a home game for Winthrop with their campus right across the street. Grant Leonard's learning a lot about his team. They're fighting. There's no quit in this group, and he didn't expect them to see, but I think he's getting a lot of answers of what he thought he had with the toughness that his group is showing to battle back in this game.
Berman, he'll just take it to the bucket himself.
He did. Got off the ball screen there, turned the corner. Lack of communication on Winthrop. They didn't switch, and he's so big and physical coming downhill. He's hard to get back in front of at that size.
Berman now tied for the team lead with 8. Mio feeding underneath the Duncombe, got pushed off the block a bit. Now draws the double.
They got to do more of that in the post. They got to double.
Underneath, the offensive board turns into a bucket for the Eagles. Camarade
is flying in on the weak side, and someone has got to stop ball watching and put a body on him.
Final shot of the first half. Berman off the mark. Tipped around 0.3 of a second left, and that should do it for the first half, unless you may see a use it or lose it timeout here for Winthrop. At a 5-point game, Winthrop led this one by as many as 11 in the first half. Queens 13 for 33 from the field, and Winthrop is 14 for 36. The official's going to come over and take a look to see if any time should be added to the clock here, just to make sure that the game clock is correct.
That's a good look there by Berman at the top of the key to make it a one-possession game, and it was short from the time it left his hand. Gives Queens a chance now to take out anyone that may be in foul trouble. You need length, because Walford, with the amount of time that's left, is going to try to throw the ball to at least half court or 3-point line.
There is enough time to get a shot off. We'll see if they add more time, or maybe, I don't think they would take any time off. They may add a little bit of time. We'll see at the end of this first half. 40-35, Paul Fritchner, Randolph Childress with you. Jeff Goodman is over waiting on an interview as we head into halftime.
Yeah, we pulled Jeff's mic. I finally figured out a way to shut Jeff up, so you wonder why Jeff's quiet for a little bit. I pulled the plug on his mic.
Randolph's on the case. Again, still just taking a look here to see how much time is left.
I mean, what a first half. I mean, it's been a very high-level played game, and it's been very physical.
You and I were talking in the car on the way over about these teams probably needing the first media to settle in. Yes. That's what happened.
Yes.
And then since then, you've seen 75 points in this first half.
And this game is being played at a pace that both teams wants to play, but I think Winthrop, they averaged 85 points a game last year. They're close to that, and They want this game in a high-paced game. And I don't think Queens minds it. I just think that they need another handler to ease the pressure.
0.3 of a second. Batted around, and that'll do it for the first half. First 20 minutes of basketball in the books. 20 down, 20 to go here from Rock Hill in the opener. And we'll take a look here to see where is Jeff Goodman and can he get an interview. Goodman appears to be over on the Winthrop side trying to track down Mark Prosser. And there he is, Jeff Goodman with Mark Prosser.
All right, Mark, 40 points. I know you like to play fast. It's the first game of the season. You playing fast enough?
No. They're doing a couple things, I think, picking up the full court a little bit, extending a 1-3-1, trying to slow it down a little bit, which is understandable. We prepared for that. We can do a better job. We weren't very good in our system really at either end of the floor. We can get better, and we have some things to shore up, and we have about 15 minutes to do it.
You did a great job on Ashby, their best shooter early. He started to get going. How much of that is going to be a priority when you talk to your team at half?
Yeah, obviously he's the preseason player of the year in that league for a reason. A couple times we weren't doing, again, like I said, systematically doing what we were supposed to do, and we lost him late in the shot clock. It's just little things you can't do. You have to stay locked in. That's part of playing the first game of the year and the first half of the year. So we'll try to get locked in, and we'll try to do better this half.
Kareem's been terrific. Hasn't scored, but I think defensively he's been great and pushing the pace and getting guys involved. Do you just want to see more of that from him, or what else?
Yeah, I think you saw it. His shot's going to start to fall. He's a gifted scorer as well, but he's just a team guy. So he's taking the ball in gaps. He's got, I don't know what he is, assist turnover ratio right now. He was, I think, 10th in the country last year in assist turnover ratio. So we feel good about where he's at, and he'll contribute offensively, I'm sure, very, very quickly.
Thanks, Mark.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Winthrop by 5 at the break. Be back in just a moment on the Field of 68's opening day marathon.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
Field of 68's opening day marathon. Winthrop and Queens getting us started. There will be 2 more here from Rock Hill, South Carolina the rest of the day. We'll also have 3 games from Sioux Falls, South Dakota and the Sanford Pentagon. Again, it's halftime, and we are joined by Andy Clinton, the president of Visit York County. And what a spectacular event York County has put on here today to bring the fans out. It's 8 a.m. College basketball is back. Andy, great to have you here.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Very happy you guys are here, and it's great to have college basketball start in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We have a great crowd. You never know, first time something happens, and we have a packed out crowd, sold out. So
that's right.
It's a great turnout. Tell everyone how this process went about. How did this come?
Yeah, this is a long time coming. This actually started 5 years ago. Actually, meeting Jeff Goodman and Field of 68, talked about an event like this coming to fruition. And like anything, it takes time to build up an event like this, bring it to fruition, and I'm glad that we're finally here this morning. So long time coming.
I know there are a lot of college basketball fans from around the country, thousands of people watching this right now that are very thankful we finally have the opening day marathon back, right? It became such an ingrained part of the sports culture for so long, hasn't been a part of it for a while, and now here we are today. Thank you and your county for helping get this started, because it's been fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Appreciate Field of 68, us working all together. It takes everybody. It takes the city of Rock Hill, the facility they have, Winthrop University being a part of this, Field of 68, and Busy York County all working together.
So tell us a little bit more about this facility, because this is a spectacular little arena and complex. And I say little because the arena itself feels very intimate, right? The fans are right on top of the action, but the actual complex itself is massive. There are courts all back down the wall there, probably 20, 30 basketball courts. I don't know how many there are all the way down across from us. To be able to have an event center like this, how much does it mean to the community?
Yeah, it's a huge impact. I mean, the amount of tourism, the amount of visitors that come and stay overnight, and that's the bread and butter of this facility, right? The travel basketball events, the travel volleyball events coming in over the weekend. And that's where, we developed a relationship for a live period event, right? When Adidas or NCAA live periods here, we talk to somebody like a Jeff Goodman, or we talk to somebody from a lot of these universities that are playing here today. And they bring up the idea as far as like, hey, why don't you put a college basketball event on the arena court? So that's how, the momentum starts to bring something like this today.
You had an event here just yesterday you finished up, didn't you? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Say that again?
About the event you held yesterday.
Yeah, wheelchair basketball. What a great event to have. Wheelchair basketball is more of a regional event. We're actually working the bid on the national event for wheelchair basketball. So that's where, like I said, you'll see events like this every weekend, where it's wheelchair basketball, travel basketball. We have, Adidas, their live period in here multiple times a year. We've worked with NCAA, volleyball. I mean, it's packed out every weekend here. So,
Andy Clinton, we appreciate you taking a few minutes today here on halftime of the Field of 68's opening day marathon. Thank you so much for hosting us. It's been we're just 20 minutes into this, and we can already tell what kind of a day this is going to be. It's spectacular. Thank you so much for having us.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's Andy Clinton, the president of Visit York County. I'm Paul Fritchner. That's Randolph Childress. Jeff Goodman is somewhere. He'll be back on the broadcast in just a minute. Still halftime.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
What does it mean to be an ultimate outsider? Find out on a journey from the beaches of the Atlantic to the Blue Ridge Mountains, where you can unearth new outdoor adventures around every turn. And if you've got what it takes, visit all of South Carolina's state parks to become an ultimate outsider. Start your journey at southcarolinaparks.com. Come out and play.
Before a city turns to you for answers, before the stories that need telling are told, and our nation's biggest companies look to you to make their next big move. Whenever, however, you're called upon to step up, Queens will prepare you to do just that. Because here, Royals rise.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Hummel podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm 101, number one. We the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup, 101, number one, number one. We the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup, that's a hole in one. Yeah, I'm 101, number one. We the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup.
Back on the Field of 68's opening day marathon, Winthrop by 5 right now over Queens, the first of 3 games. And Jeff, as we take a look at this here real quick, just want to say a quick thank you to you, as we just had Andy Clinton on from Visit York County, but a thank you to you and the Field of 68 for being able to resurrect this event and bring it back for college basketball fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I've been talking to Andy for a few years about doing something here, and to be able to do this event and kick off the season has been awesome. It's cool to see, and again, I think next year you can expect 24 hours, so I hope you guys, can you do a midnight game?
I'm ready for it. You can give me the 2:30 a.m., the 5:30 a.m. That is prime time for me. I'm there. You can sign me. I'll sign right now.
All right.
I will sign right now.
I don't sleep anyway tonight before I'm so anxious, so it doesn't matter. We could have tipped this thing off like Midnight Madness, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then we will come back, and we'll be ready for the second half in just a minute. Winthrop by 5.
We all know the Players Era Festival has become the best field in all of college basketball. And you have the opportunity to win a VIP trip to the Players Era Festival in Las Vegas, thanks to our partners over at BetMGM. Here's how it works. Opt into the contest and start placing bets on any sport of at least $10 with plus 100 odds or greater. When you do that, you earn leaderboard points based on the bet's odds and the amount that you wagered. The more you bet, the higher the odds, the more points that you earn. The top players in that contest are going to win a prize package that includes tickets to the games, withdrawable funds for travel, a 4-night stay at the luxurious Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas, and more. For the full list of prizes, look in the description below. Make the tournament legendary with BetMGM. Vegas is calling. You gonna answer?
What does it mean to be an ultimate outsider? Find out on a journey from the beaches of the Atlantic to the Blue Ridge Mountains, where you can unearth new outdoor adventures around every turn. And if you've got what it takes, visit all of South Carolina's state parks to become an ultimate outsider. Start your journey at southcarolinaparks.com. Come out and play.
Back here on the Field of 68, it is Winthrop by 5 right now. And these teams took a minute to settle in, Randolph Childress, but since then, it's been pretty high-level basketball. 10 combined made threes so far in this game. The teams have only missed 1 free throw. The shots are starting to fall. And what clicked on both sides?
Well, I think both teams just kind of stuck to their identity in the game plan. They both teams talked about how important rebounding was. They both have had their moments, 10 offensive rebounds each. I think the biggest difference right now has probably been the fast break points. Winthrop wants to play at a faster pace. They're using more bodies. Their bench has had a bigger impact. They're +9 on the transition points. I think that's the biggest difference right now, because Queens, as much as they've been punched, they've punched back and they've answered the bell. And I expect this to continue. The question is, can they sustain it with the lack of bench production that they've gotten in the first half?
Jeff, what are some of your takeaways from the first half?
Yeah, I think if you're Grant Leonard and you go into halftime only down 5 points,
yes,
you're happy.
Yes.
You know, you're 4 for 19 from 3. You came out a little bit flat. Your star freshman point guard has 2 fouls in 6 minutes, and you're right there. And Chris Ashby started to get going, in the final 8-10 minutes. So if you can keep him going and figure out this point guard situation and find ways to, again, not be sped up. I just felt like they were sped up so much, especially Berman, who settled down towards the end of the first half.
I think he settled down, Jeff, because they got him off the ball some. He had 5 turnovers. A couple of them was on the ball, and that wouldn't happen with your point guard. You and I talked about Parker has to be more involved. We talked about Wofford as a point guard. He got 2 fouls. That's a problem playing against Winthrop because they get downhill and they attack so much. You got to slide him on a guy. Maybe you can hide him a little bit because you need to have Wofford, the freshman, on the floor.
It is a 5-point game right now, and you see Dalen Berry, the leading scorer for Winthrop, at 12. A couple with 8. Ashby and Berman both with 8 for Queens. Queens 13 for 33 from the field. Winthrop 14 for 36. But the one thing that sticks out to me looking at Winthrop defensively, 6 steals. Queens does not have any yet.
And 3 of them from Rozier.
Yeah.
And they created fast break opportunities. That's the biggest thing to me is, again, Rozier, quick hands. He's brought the energy for this Winthrop team. When Randolph, you and I felt like Queens was going to be the team to come out of the gates with energy.
We did, just because their familiarity with the time. I mean, Winthrop is just feeding off this crowd. They're exerting their physicality inside, trying to control the paint some. But again, Queens didn't go anywhere. When they got down by 11, they started coming out, executing their concepts, playing with the level of physicality themselves. And they got to figure out something with Berman in his point guard position as well. I mean, 5 turnovers, he's got to take care of the basketball. And I don't think anybody can play with the ball in front of Rozier. I mean, his leverage and quick hands has been a problem this first half.
Yeah, they haven't taken advantage of his size at all.
And I love that he comes out, Jeff. He's taking on responsibility like, hey, I'm guarding Chris Ashby. I'm going to keep him under control. And if he does that, Queens can have a bigger issue.
Parker gets the scoring started in the second half. Little lefty lay-in, and it's down to a 1-possession game. First time in a long time Queens has been able to say that.
He doesn't need to do that every time, but he needs to do it more often. I think Parker and Larson at that 5 spot, their ability to face up and drive is where they have the advantage.
Berry, the game's leading scorer, off to the right, but a foul on the rebound will keep it on this end. Nobody on either side with 3 fouls, but a handful of players with a pair. And there it is, right on cue. That's his 3rd.
But this is what we talked about. This is the most important thing when you're playing Winthrop. I think as a scouting report, you got to protect your guys and sit them down, because if you don't have the depth, they just wear you down with the foul trouble. And Parker hasn't missed a shot. He's been really good for Queens. Now he has to sit with 3.
Trying to get it up to Mann. He'll challenge Cluett, and he's off the mark, but the tip up and good for Gus Larson. It's a 1-point game.
Yeah, we talk about their best offensive players. I think, Larson and Parker combined at that 5 spot has just been incredible.
Rozier didn't go up with it. Instead, he turned it over. Queens can take the lead. Haven't led yet today. They'll have to wait a little bit longer. To the bucket. And the foul again.
Got to get back and set your defense. You can't run with your man. All 5 guys have got to get back. Winthrop is coming. They do a great job of advancing the pass up to the wing. Attacking the rim. Berry gets the potential and 1 here. And
that's Jabril's 2nd foul. Berry up to 14.
Berry's a great story. He started his career at Charlotte. 2nd year at Charlotte, Aaron Fern takes him in. He's playing about 15 minutes a game. Takes him in midseason and says, you're done. You're really not going to play again this year. And he didn't. Dalen Berry played 4 minutes the rest of the year. And the reasoning was because he was thinking too much. And Dalen Berry said to me, he said, you know what? He was right. He was honest with me. He was right, and he learned from it. And now he said, I don't overthink things. I just play.
Isaiah Wilson lost his shoe. He gets it back, but Yeah, what a story for Dalen Berry to now get to a point where he's most maybe dependable player on this team right now. And finally, there is Kareem Rozier with his first basket of the day.
He'll have those opportunities because of his vision, his ability to pass the basketball. Teams are going to force him to look to score, and here he just turns the corner, snakes the screen, and it gets the angle, and Larson doesn't want to pick up the foul.
Queens just hasn't been able to get over the hump to take the lead. And a foul underneath.
I thought there was a couple opportunities in the first half that Queens had an advantage of a bigger guy on Rozier, and they didn't get it inside. You can see they're being more intentional with the man here with 6'5", trying to post up there.
That was Cody Cluett's first foul.
Just continue to move your body in the ball. That's what this offense is based off of.
Larson, he's had a strong game. That's the second time he's been able to craft his way into the lane and finish with the reverse just like that.
Larson's been really good. Just catching it again. Their bigs, their advantage is on the move.
And a foul outside. Officials going to have a quick chat about this. Again, the officials, John Wall, Jordan Arnold, and Drew Ransdell.
Returning to the lineup for the Eagles, number 23, Ben Mogo.
Rozier looking for his first three, still can't find it. Stay with Winthrop. Bradley and St. Bonaventure at 11. And then it'll be 6:30 tonight for Furman and High Point.
It's just an extra possession here again by Winthrop. Queens has just got to rebound the basketball cleanly.
Cluett lost it. Right into the hands of Ndawi. 8 on the shot clock. Rozier will try it again. Just cannot get one to fall.
They're backing off of Rozier, and that's what we talked about, that's where he's got to step up and knock down open shots, because they're going to be there. I'd like to see him continue to get in the paint. Great things are happening when he gets the ball and attack the rim.
And he can get in the lane whenever he wants.
Whenever he wants.
Guys. So, to me, get in the lane and make plays for your teammates. Spray the ball like you were doing in the first half. But I think, again, Queens understands that's what they got to do at this point. The key is if you can slow Rozier down and make him settle for those long jumpers, that's probably his biggest weakness right now, is shooting the ball from three.
Well, he's involving everyone in the game, and you're better off, again, I think that's the way teams are going to defend him. You're going to make him a scorer and then stay home on the other guys.
Almost threw it away, tipped around. It'll stay on this end, 15 on the shot clock.
Now the question becomes, what does Winthrop offense look like without him? Because he was probably the best player on the floor in the first half, and with him out, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure, I think, on Isaiah Wilson. He has to be the guy to assume that role.
And he's a veteran. You know, this is a guy he's coming up, 2 torn ACLs. Yeah. He missed basically 2 full seasons. Last year he came back, shook the rust up a little bit, but they need him to do more this year.
Queens again looking for their first lead of the day. A 3 would give it to them.
That's so good about Barry on that ball screen defense, fighting over.
Tipped around to Winthrop. And that'll take us to the break. It's down to a 2-point game. It was as many as 11 for Winthrop in the first half, 45-43 early on in the second.
your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
Welcome back to Rock Hill, South Carolina, where the Winthrop Eagles lead Queens by 2. We'll take a look back here at that last play. Man went diving into the stands. May have got himself twisted up a bit here. Oh, you can see right on that chair, Randolph.
Yeah, foot bends awkwardly. He's back out there. Well, no, he's out of the game now. And let's hope he's okay.
Yeah, he's tied with 3 others for second on the team in scoring with 8.
Out of the timeout, the basketball belongs.
And as a guard, he's been probably the guard for Queens that have come in and contributed on the rebounding as they go back into their 1-3-1 here. And
only 5 different players for Queens have scored. Winthrop looks underneath, lays it in, an easy play out of the timeout.
They're really prepared against that 1-3-1, and they really punished it.
That was in Dowie. And the foul, it's Berman. He's up to double figures now with 10. That's something he did 13 times last year.
Berman, a 21-year-old from Tel Aviv, Israel, wasn't recruited by anybody besides Queens out of high school. Well, he did 2 years in the military. From 18 to 20 years old, he was in the Israeli military, then came over and has started to settle down in this game.
Yeah.
I just thought he was, again, moving too quick. Didn't look rattled necessarily, mentally, but I just felt like he wasn't playing, with a poise that Grant Leonard had said that's why we're putting him at the point.
Yeah, and I think credit to Winthrop with that. I mean, Rozier's been lights out on the ball with his ball pressure. Then they're throwing different bodies at him, bigger, athletic wings. Burry's had his moments on both ends of the floor, but defensively, his length has been troublesome. Berman's got to settle down and take care of the basketball first and at least get a field goal up.
Number 11, Cody Cluett. That is his second. It's the team's third. Correction. The Queens fouls on number 11.
Been a slow start offensively for Winthrop here in the second half. Trying to feed to Duncombe. There he is. Logan Duncombe now with 4.
They've got to drop the post. There's just no answer. They're just too small inside from a physical standpoint. Their advantage is like Lawson here, facing up and driving. But when the ball gets inside that deep, I think it's too easy for any of the bigs for Winthrop.
Deep 3 for Ashby.
Got to stop the ball.
Coast to coast, Bering couldn't lay it in. Barry, the game's leading scorer with 14. And an offensive foul. No, yes, was an offensive foul there.
The Queens University fouls on number 5, King
Clark has really struggled
the team's fifth.
In this game, just putting his imprint on this game.
Returning to the lineup for the Winthrop
And they
Eagles,
got to
number
get
3,
some
Josh
production
Vito.
from their bench.
Number 4, Pharrell Boyo-Gueno.
And they're going to need to because Winthrop is substituting guys 3 at a time. They're just trying to wear him down. And you're starting to see little possessions here. Winthrop is playing in spurts, but you can't let up.
Yeah, it's what Mark Prosser does, right? They played 11 guys in the first game, and it's not even necessarily trying to figure it out. They're going to play 11 guys throughout the season because that's the way they play, right? They try to wear you down. They play fast. They try to get to the rim. The one thing they haven't done is get to the line nearly as much as Mark Prosser wanted to and probably will later on this year.
I think that's why Queens is still in this game. You can see they're intentional about showing their hands on drives and not fouling.
And the refs have let a lot go. Yeah,
yes,
they let him play.
They let him play. They're playing too hard to let the officials call it. But this is where I think it's advantage of Winthrop.
Duncan with a strong drive to the rim. Gets the ball back, has it blocked. And here's Berman. No look pass into the corner. Schweiger for three, and we are tied.
That's what we just talked about on cue. Getting some production off the bench, and now the defensive intensity is picking up. And Clark gets the offensive foul called on a moving screen. Just engaging the basketball. You don't have to score to make an impact.
Logan Duncombe still kind of getting used to playing long minutes, being a guy that they're relying on. Didn't play a lot of basketball his first 4 years. Indiana, Xavier, last year here again, quit the team, Xavier quit the sport a couple years ago. So he's got to get his confidence back and get in shape.
And fans of Jeff have got to be patient with him, because the best player for Winthrop a year ago was Tolford at that position, and it's going to look different. He needs time.
Jordan Watford will go to the line here to give Queens their first lead of the day.
Paul, this is a really good-looking freshman.
He is.
I mean,
he was the 2024-2025 South Carolina Max Preps Player of the Year, #1 player in South Carolina from 24/7, McDonald's All-American nominee, all-time leading scorer at Lancaster High School, 2-time All-State, 4-time All-Region, 2-time Regional Player of the Year. They have themselves a player.
I don't know how they got him.
I don't know how they keep him.
Well,
Let's be honest. At his size, Jeff, and playmaking ability, I get how you got him, but the question now is, how do you keep him?
Well, Grant Leonard's got to raise some money. That's what he's got to do. Right after this game's over, he needs to start getting some more money to be able to retain him.
First lead of the day for Queens. A fun one here to start the season. We wouldn't have it any other way. Paul Fretchner, Randolph Childress, Jeff Goodman with you. The Field of 68's opening day marathon. Rozier, a high floater. The Queens can extend the lead. Watford lays it in.
Wow. RC, that's a freshman?
Yeah. He's showing you again. Great defensive possession there, rebound, push it, and again, the freshman is coming out. He only had 2 fouls. He had a big impact in the first half. Now he's coming out. He's picking up his level of aggression here and making an impact both ends of the court.
Things starting to get a little chippy here as Queens takes the lead. 4-point edge into the break.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
What does it mean to be an ultimate outsider? Find out on a journey from the beaches of the Atlantic to the Blue Ridge Mountains, where you can unearth new outdoor adventures around every turn. And if you've got what it takes, visit all of South Carolina's state parks to become an ultimate outsider. Start your journey at southcarolinaparks.com. Come out and play.
7-0 run for Queens over the last 39 seconds has given the Royals their first lead of the day. A run out here for Jordan Wofford. And the freshman starting to take over.
And we got to remember, this Queens program, in their transition, this is the first year they're eligible for the NCAA tournament picked preseason first in the A-Sun, and you're seeing a team right now that might be able to go to the tournament his first year. Grant Leonard told me yesterday, he said, it would be surreal if we could do that from where we came from the Division II ranks.
We talked about it, and we complimented him on how great of a job he had done. He said, "Oh, I'm still would I have the worst record?
Losing his coach.
Losing his coach also." But that transition was really, really tough in just a short period of time. In the first year of them being eligible for the NCAA tournament, you created an environment and a culture and a team that's now preseason pick, and they look the part, Jeff. I mean, they're big, they're athletic.
He's done a great job. I mean, Grant Leonard was a guy, he said like 4 or 5 years ago, he was trying to get D2 head coaching jobs and kept getting turned down. He couldn't get on a D1 staff as an assistant, and he's at Queens. Bart Lundy, who was the head coach at Queens, goes and gets the head job at Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Grant gets promoted, elevated, and look at what he's done with this program. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 9 seasons as an assistant at Queens before getting the head coaching job in 2022. 52-49 as a head coach.
He's impressive when you talk to him, and he's another one of these guys. When you watch how his team plays and what he gets out of these guys and how much heart and how much they love playing for him, he's a guy I think in the future keep your eyes out for, because they get into the NCAA tournament. We talked about Wofford as a freshman. He might be going with Leonard somewhere as well, and that's a credit. It's just the nature of the environment. We obviously don't know where things are going, but he's fun to be around. You spend enough time talking to him, you see why they're in the position that they're in.
Yeah, the players really respect him because, he's kind of old school in a way, but he'll also put his arm around guys, and I think they appreciate that from him.
But his offense, Jeff, is modern. He's not running in old concept plays. He's running 5-out motion, allowing you to play. He's just demanding that you defend. And both teams are similar in that regard. I just think Winthrop wants to play more in the post, and Queen wants to play on the perimeter, and that's their advantages that they have over each other.
It's Ty Hamilton's 3rd foul. He's only played a handful of minutes so far today. Looking underneath, Larson navigating his way through the paint. How about Gus Larson? Up to 13.
Yes, he's been.
He's their leading scorer.
I mean, he and Parker has just been amazing. I mean, just what they've been able to do. They're undersized physically at the 5, but again, their mobility is giving Winthrop problems.
Gus Larson, a graduate transfer from Cal, averaged less than 1.5 points. Here he is, the leading scorer. 4-point edge for Queens.
Before a city turns to you for answers, before the stories that need telling are told, and our nation's biggest companies look to you to make their next big move. Whenever, however, you're called upon to step up, Queens will prepare you to do just that. Because here, Royals rise.
Would you be surprised to find out that the Field of 68 is home to more than 35 podcasts? More than 25 team-specific podcasts that are hosted by the people that know what fans want the most. The Goodman and Humble podcast, the DTF podcast, the A10 Insider podcast, and the Mountain West podcast. But wait, there's even more. The Field of 68 will be launching the ACC Insider podcast this year. Subscribe to this channel and come along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm 101, number 1. We the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup, 101, number 1, number 1. We the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone. Diamond Cup, that's a hole in one. Yeah, I'm 101, number 1. We the best, it's another one. I say it with my chest, I'm telling everyone.
Gus Larson has been almost perfect today. 6 for 7 from the floor, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, a couple of boards and assists, only 1 foul. He is the team's leading scorer with 13.
He's been really good. I mean, again, it's just using his size and his athletic ability He's using different angles to finish. He's catching it on the move. And again, I don't think there's an answer for he and Parker when they're facing up. The problem is on the other side. Hamilton and the bigs in the front line of Winthrop is having their way inside when they get the basketball. But Lawson is definitely doing his part, taking advantage of it, and it's going to be an issue. Having bigs that face and drive you on a perimeter changes everything, because now as a guard, it puts me in a help position of rim protection. That's not a strength, and that's just something that's really hard to guard and defend when you got a skilled big that stretches you and puts pressure on the rim like that.
Rozier hits the first. Spent his first 3 years of his career at Duquesne. He was 10th last year among all Division I players in assist-to-turnover ratio. He's always been pass first. The question is, can Rozier score at an elite level here this year?
The way they play, I don't know, Jeff, if you agree with this or not, but the way they play, he doesn't have to. But I think for them to reach the goals that they want, he's going to have to, particularly in certain moments.
Yeah, I agree, because Cluett and Wilson aren't big-time scorers. You're going to need to find a third guy.
Yes.
Maybe even a second guy, because this guy, Dalen Berry, clearly is your go-to guy right now.
Right.
But Duncombe hasn't shown that he can score at a high level.
Yes.
So I think Rozier is going to have to average 15 points a game for this team to be a team that is competing for a league title again.
I think between those two guys, they both have to have an uptick in their offensive production on a consistent level, and particularly with Logan. I think, again, as we talked about, him replacing Kelton Talford, who averaged 16 and 8 a year ago and was their best player.
Three ball still falling. That one's for Berman. He's up to 14.
When you're knocking down threes, you're always in it, and they're going to keep shooting them and shooting them.
I believe they may have called that a 2. The scoreboard showing that they called that a 2. The scoreboard in the arena.
All right, now Berman picks up his third. You got some decisions you got to think about now. Avante Parker's out of the game with 3. Wofford's out of the game. The freshman picked up his third. He's coming back in the game, and now Berman has 3. This is a big ask of a freshman that you're trusting him early to put him back in the game with 3 fouls. But you got to have him or Berman on the floor, or you just can't get in the offense.
Yeah, if you can get to the 8-minute timeout without Berman, can Watford give you 3 quality minutes here without picking up a foul? And he hasn't been able to do it yet, but he's got to be smarter in the defensive end. He's been great offensively, but he's got to be a little bit smarter on the defensive end.
Ashby left wide open. Couldn't hit it.
Ashby seems to be a little hesitant. He was wide open there, and he's had tight defense on him all game long.
Duncombe left all alone underneath. No. Offensive board. He'll go to the line for the first time today.
That's the one we're talking about. Duncombe has to finish. He has to catch and finish that. Credit to him for continuing with his motor and getting the rebound, drawing a foul, but you got to catch and finish that.
Just trying to get his confidence back.
Yeah.
You could tell, again, it's a kid that came in with a ton of hype into Indiana, and just, you know, mentally, he told me that's been the hardest part of his journey. And, you know, good to see him smiling again, because gave up the game a couple years ago. You know, went to Xavier and didn't even make it to their first game. Quit in the summer, but, you know, he's found the love for the game again. He said, as a big, sometimes people were questioning to me whether I was playing just because I was 6'10", and now I've understood that I play because I love it.
Schweiger underneath.
And to that point, I think he's playing for the right guy, too. Mark Prosser is a great guy when you're trying to find confidence to play for.
The Winthrop fouls on number 25, 17, and
on that dump off underneath, Schweiger got hit, and that foul will go against Ndawi.
Good ball screen there. Winthrop just laid on the tag, and got to get in front of that big when he's rolling. That time, I think the ball screen coverage wasn't great, and the guard rotating over the tag was late and gave up an and one.
Barry splitting Fading away, tough bucket.
That is. Split the ball screen, getting the paint, play off 2 feet. It's just wired to score, and it's playing really well.
And an offensive foul, another illegal screen.
The Queens University fouls on number 7, Gus Larson.
Jeff, one thing that we should probably talk about here as we come down the stretch in this season, something that's new this season, coaches can challenge this season. Coaches will have one challenge this year, and if they are successful, they will be granted the opportunity to challenge again, but something that has been a long time coming for the sport of college basketball.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, again, it's worked in the NBA. So college is kind of taking some things here from the NBA, that, and obviously continuation being another major change for college basketball this year. RC, you like the challenge?
I do. I think we're moving the game closer toward the NBA game, and we've done everything else. I think the last hurdle for me is 4 quarters.
Got to do it.
I think we go to 4 quarters, and I think we're already doing some great things, and college basketball is so fun. But I think once we take that next step to go to 4th quarters, look out.
Yeah, when's the first challenge coming? We got we got any? I don't want to say wagers, but who's going to be that coach who challenges? I think we're going to get the first one today because Field of 68. We got the first 4 games.
Yeah,
we got between here and Sioux Falls. So maybe to come down the stretch here, last 10 minutes. Who knows?
Yeah, this is a 1-possession game right now, and these teams aren't going anywhere. I can definitely see one of these coaches using their challenge when opportunity presents itself.
Watford in the game right now. Man, a step back 3, way off. And then a foul on Watford.
That's a bad foul as a freshman. We talked about it. You have 3. That's his 4th foul. And he came in just at the 10-minute mark. Jeff, you said 11-minute mark. Could he make it to 8 minutes to give Furman a break? And that's something he's going to learn. The coach is trusting you to go out there and not foul. And if you get it, you don't want to get it 94 feet on a rebound.
That is a freshman mistake right there.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good. But, again, you got to learn, right? You got to learn. You've been playing at Lancaster High.
Yep.
You know, now you're playing in Division I, big difference. And again, the mental part of the game is so important, knowing time and score and the fact that you got to protect your starting point guard here.
Right.
You got to try to get him to where you can get him to the 8-minute timeout. And maybe even the end of the game, you could have both those guys in the court together because they've both been really good lately.
One thing that all freshmen got to learn is, one, they got to learn how hard you got to play at Division I basketball. And then the second thing is you got to learn how to play hard and smart.
Through contact on the left side of the paint, Avante Parker.
Parker and Lawson, if you could just combine, I mean, they've been incredible.
And the 3-ball to tie it up. How about this one to get the season started in Rock Hill? 9 minutes to go. We're even at 62. A block, oh my goodness. I thought Logan Duncombe, he got the ball, but then too much contact there.
The Winthrop foul is on number 51, Logan Duncombe. That is his 3rd.
It's a great role here. Parker's been amazing. His ability catching and finishing off the move. And here, dribble penetration, you got to get out to the corner 3. Just too easy a look in a game this competitive. You got to guard the basketball if you're Queens.
Berman, 13 points today. Now 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Three shots. He was fouled on that 3. Wouldn't have this one any other way, fellas.
No, it's fun. And I give Mark Prosser a lot of credit, right? This is a Queens program that's going from D2 to D1. He doesn't have to play him. Right, Winthrop is established. They've been a really good mid-major program for years, and he plays Queens not even in his home gym, but here in the Sports and Events Center.
Jeff, we have games and teams that high major teams don't want to play because they're good, well coached, and they're talented as well. And Queens is one of those teams. They're not going to get a lot of high majors wanting to play a team like that.
You and I, we were all talking yesterday with these coaching staffs as the teams came into practice all day long yesterday. We had the opportunity to talk to every coaching staff, and one of those themes is when you get into these mid-major games that you talk about scheduling and how difficult it is to get high majors on the schedule. Now, credit to Winthrop. They will play Arkansas, Nebraska, and Texas Tech this season. A very difficult schedule.
That's a credit to some of those programs. I mean, Calipari ain't ducking nobody. He wants all the smoke. He doesn't care who you are. And, you got to get games like that. You got to call Bill Self and Tom Izzo. You got to call these guys because they don't care who they play.
And in those games, obviously, a school like Winthrop, you're making anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 plus for each of those games. And there's a ton of bye games tonight. A ton of bye games on the schedule. That's why you're not going to see many one-point games today with 8:40 left on the clock. You're just not.
Just a highly competitive game.
Winthrop back in front. Man on the offensive glass.
Man has done a really good job as a guard getting in there. Getting on the offensive glass.
Tough to the bucket. The follow, no. Couple shots at it. Still diving on it is Rozier, and they'll push it up ahead. Here's Nasir Mann. And again, Nasir Mann. Queens is a team that practices at 6 a.m. every day. We asked Coach Leonard, is it hard to get the guys up at 6 a.m.? And he said there was one day this summer where I had to kick the team out. They couldn't do it anymore. Had to kick them out, had to raise the energy level. Nasir Mann came to Leonard and said it won't happen again. To his credit, it hasn't. A vocal leader on this team, and it's a reason that right now Queens leads it by 3. 7:42 to go in Rock Hill.
We all know the Players Era Festival has become the best field in all of college basketball. And you have the opportunity to win a VIP trip to the Players Era Festival in Las Vegas, thanks to our partners over at BetMGM. Here's how it works. Opt into the contest and start placing bets on any sport of at least $10 with plus 100 odds or greater. When you do that, you earn leaderboard points based on the bet's odds and the amount that you wagered. The more you bet, the higher the odds, the more points that you earn. The top players in that contest are going to win a prize package that includes tickets to the games, withdrawable funds for travel, a 4-night stay at the luxurious Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas, and more. For the full list of prizes, look in the description below. Make the tournament legendary with BetMGM. Vegas is calling. You gonna answer?
What does it mean to be an ultimate outsider? Find out on a journey from the beaches of the Atlantic to the Blue Ridge Mountains, where you can unearth new outdoor adventures around every turn. And if you've got what it takes, visit all of South Carolina's state parks to become an ultimate outsider. Start your journey at southcarolinaparks.com. Come out and play.
It is Queens by 3, and here is the schedule for the rest of the day on the field of 68. Bradley and Bonaventure, that will be right here after us at 11 a.m. Then we'll kick it out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Murray State and Omaha, Drake and Northern Arizona will come back here for Furman and High Point before we finish the night with South Dakota State and Merrimack.
You're going to try to get a nap in, RC, in between the second and third game?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I definitely might have to before we do after dark, man. I can't. Starting this early and then going until about 1 o'clock tonight.
We'll get you another Dunkin'.
There you go.
Don't worry. We'll get you another Dunkin'.
There you go. Coffee. I don't need the donut. Just give me the coffee.
This has been a back and forth game. 5 ties, 3 lead changes. Most of that here in the second half. Nice play made over there by the public address announcer. One hand in that one.
Good defense by Duncan on that one. Yeah. Kind of walling up and making sure he didn't foul.
He's at his advantage near the rim when he's closest to the basket. His issue is with Parker and Larson has been when they drive him from the three-point line. And they setting screens like this, and they're slipping and catching it on the move.
A foul called, I believe that was Logan Duncombe. It was. That's 3 on Duncombe.
Give Queens credit because Ashby has been quiet for a while. And Queens has kind of gone on this run, stuck around, then took the lead, and kind of taking control a little bit without Ashby. We'll see what he can do here. He goes to the line, and if he starts to heat up here in these last few minutes, and he's allowed these other guys to get good looks.
They're scheming him right now, and he's going to have to adjust to that. When he was a good player a year ago, your preseason player of the year, you shoot the ball the way he does, and as an explosive shooter, they're scheming. He's drawing a ton of attention, and I think it's provided some freedom for everyone else.
Also cool for Ashby, he didn't think he was going to be able to play this year. Remember, he was out of eligibility until the rule went in, the Diego Pavia rule that allowed, he started his career in junior college, got a year back, so now he's eligible for the NCAA tournament when he never thought that would be the case.
I don't think anyone outside of Grant Leonard is happier about that decision.
Cluett stops the drought for Winthrop. They needed that one in a big way. Back to a 2-point game.
His third 3 here today, and again, 31% a year ago. He looks like he's well above that. So far this year. I mean, he's just been shooting it well.
Cam
25 years old for Cody Cluett. He had a hidden injury in high school senior year, broke his femur, and the doctors told him he might never play again. Went NAIA, went a couple years at Division II, went to San Diego last year, had an unbelievable day, 38 points on senior day. He thought it was it. Again, like Ashby, got the year back from junior college, transferred to Winthrop, and he says he feels the best he's ever felt. And, 25 years old, still in college hoops, baby. The new way.
Cam Clark, that's his fourth. So 4 players in this game right now with 4 fouls. Cam Clark, Watford, Larson, all for Queens, and then Hamilton for Winthrop, all with 4.
That's going to be an issue here, these last 7 minutes or so. Can they keep these guys on the floor? Because really, Winthrop doesn't have major foul. Queens has a lot more foul trouble right now, and they don't go as deep.
No. And Larson's been great, and Wofford's been really good as well. And 2 guys that have given you a lot of production, and they're 1 foul away from being dismissed from the game.
Winthrop trying to get back in front, tied at 69.
This is the lineup, Jeff, you and I talked about with Wilson and Rozier on the floor. Puts a lot of pressure on Barry to have to create for this group. Where does the offense come from?
Rozier way short on a floater.
You're shooting over a 6'6" guy in the lane. Not easy.
And that's why he's at best, getting the paint, creating. And again, great defense there by Barry.
Another steal. That's the 9th steal of the day for Winthrop. They have been active with their hands. 5:50 to go here in the second half. Tied at 69, and these teams trading big buckets. Some high-level basketball being played right now.
I mean, what a game. I mean, 5:50 to go, and it's tied. I mean, they played hard. We've seen everything we wanted to see, and for everyone. I mean, I've had coaches texting me, started a broadcast, they're waking up drinking coffee, and it's college basketball season. But what a game. I mean, they're playing hard, they're well coached. It's a lot to like about today.
This is what you wanted, right? You want to come out of the gates with an entertaining, teams are making shots, they're playing hard. Doesn't look like an 8 a.m. game, right, Paul?
No, it absolutely doesn't. And Jeff, I got to say, Paul Fritchner, Randolph Childress, Jeff Goodman with you. Jeff, last year at the Field of 68 tip-off down in Charleston, we started that event off with one of the best games of the entire season. Ante Berzovic hitting a three-pointer from the wing in double overtime against Florida Atlantic. And what was, I believe, a sold-out crowd there at TD Arena in Charleston. And here we are yet again in a Field of 68 event, with one coming down to the wire here on opening day.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm not sure I want a double overtime game again, because it'll throw everything back on the schedule today. So I'll take a great game. I'll take a buzzer beater. Just maybe not double overtime. Maybe 1 overtime.
Dalen Berry. Oh, my goodness. Pretty from Berry.
Great job there, getting to a spot. He plays off 2 feet in the paint.
22 now for Berry. Game's leading scorer.
It just took Chris Ashby out, and that would have been him on that weak side corner. Now they feel comfortable double teaming as man travels.
Steps from man.
This is where the foul trouble with Wofford hurts you, because now they're blitzing the ball screens when Berman comes off.
Winthrop on a 7-0 run right now in the last 2 minutes, and that's because of 3 turnovers from Queens. The Royals going cold at the wrong time, haven't scored in over 2 minutes. Rozier outside, glue it. The pockets of the crowd coming to their feet. You can sense the tension building inside the Rock Hill Sports and Events Complex. Berman for the lead.
Wow.
Oh!
Wow.
Big time shot.
That is. And what you're going to see now, you get in moments like this, like the last 4 minutes, you get into the guts of the games. Now you want to find out if you have a closer.
Rozier flips it the other way. Back and forth we go. What a game.
We got Rozier's dad behind us coaching him up.
Take a look back. Berman is squaring up.
It's a great job there. He comes in. This time he initiates the contact. He just plays off 2 feet. He creates space. He's not shooting over a defender. He got the angle that time. And when you're an undersized guard, that's a critical thing to do. Don't force the shot. You get in off 2 feet. You don't have it. You spray it out and find a teammate.
Berman back to the line. This will be a 1-and-1 for Berman. He has 17. He's 2 for 4 from the free throw line.
Gives it a guys as they going to sidelines there. Looks like Wilson's bleeding and they're cleaning the blood off his uniform, and gives you a time to catch your breath, and I think it benefits Queens. I mean, their bench hasn't been as deep, but those guys that come in. As you see Jabril here, man has been incredible. He has 5 offensive rebounds. He's just battled. He's doing all the dirty work. And
7 players have scored for Queens today. 5 of them are in double figures. Berman leads the way with 17. Now at 18. We are tied again. 7th tie of the game.
Now the offensive rebounding and things of that nature become backbreakers at this point in the game. You look at the lineup again with Queens on the floor. Man, that's got to continue to crack down and rebound. They've gone with a bigger lineup to help them on the glass. That's it. Larson's another foul. He's out.
Gone.
That's 5 on Gus Larson. 13 points for Larson, 6 for 7 from the field, but his day is done. Grant Leonard and Queens trying to pull it off. They lead it by 1.
Do you need your fix of college basketball analysis at the end of every night during the season? If you crave instant reactions and informed breakdowns, make sure you tune into the Field of 68 After Dark every night with access to the biggest stars in the sport and a cast of characters that includes the likes of Tyler Hansborough, Randolph Childress, John Fanta, John Henson, Terrence Oglesby, Jarrell McNeil, and many, many more. The Field of 68 After Dark is where college basketball happens.
Well, we wouldn't have it any other way on the Field of 68 opening day marathon. Over 22,000 people tuned in right now to watch what is a 1-point game with 3:52 to go. Paul Frischner, Randolph Childress, Jeff Goodman, and what a game we have here coming down to the wire.
All right, what's the key down the stretch, RC?
I think it's who controls the glass. I mean, both teams now are putting it in their playmakers' hands. I think it's Barry's trying to create on this end for Winthrop, and then we've seen Berman on the other end. But it's going to boil down to battle on the glass. Winthrop wants to crash with their sides inside, and surprising right now, Jeff, that Chris Ashby's not even in the game. As I say that, he's walking to the scores table, and he hasn't had a big impact on the game. They told us Isaiah Wilson has changed his jersey because he had too much blood on his jersey. He switched to 30, and now he's trying to go back and switch his own jersey on. He doesn't like the fit, but I think they're going to make him wear the number 30.
Isaiah Wilson is now wearing number 30 for the Winthrop Eagles.
So Isaiah Wilson now number 30, and player safety is always at the top of the list.
You know, these two coaches say, hey, whether we win or lose, we love this game because we're going to learn something.
Yes.
But you know, hey, they want momentum right out of the gates. While this may not impact them for conference play, or certainly getting the conference tournament and how deep, I think they learn a lot about their teams. But you want, especially these two teams, you know, Winthrop, you got a brand new team. You want to come out of the gates and get some momentum right away.
Jeff, I think both teams, you want to learn about who can play in these moments now. Like, this is another game now. You know, throw away the first 35 minutes. Now we're just hitting 3 minutes and 30 second mark. Who can execute when it matters?
Guess who it is poking it away on a steal? It's Wilson. Barry trying to give Winthrop the lead, has it blocked, but a foul.
And you want to see, if you're Mark Prosser especially, you haven't coached most of these guys, you want to see who shows up when the lights are the brightest, right? Who am I going to give the ball to? Well, we know Dalen Berry is going to be a guy who wants it right there, right? Got it, went to the basket, gets to the line. Who else is going to show up? You know Rozier is going to be a guy.
Yeah, I got to like what I see. Right, man, you got to like to see if you're Prosser, meaning you put the ball in Barry's hands there and he makes plays. And again, on the other end, it's going to be Berman. But you can't get caught ball watching. These guys can't just make shots. They got to make plays for themselves and their teammates. And it boils down to little things like free throw shooting and things of that nature. It's the little things. No matter what you do, basketball boils down to that at the end of, the last 3 or 4 minutes of a game. Can you make free throws? Can you get stops? Can you rebound when you need to? And can you execute when you need to? And we're going to find out. These teams are learning. These coaches are learning if these players can do those things in this moment.
8th lead change in this game. 8 ties, 8 lead changes. Almost all of that here in the second half.
See, they're switching everything and they're doubling the post and they're switching everything on the perimeter. So it just forces you. Someone's got to make a play and break the defense down and create. They're not going to let the concepts or plays beat you.
Rozier lost it. Got it back. Down the left side of the lane. Rozier kicks it out. Duncombe fighting for the board.
Duncan's got his hands on so many of those balls. He just can't keep it in. And with this lineup, they don't have another guy that crashes the glass to help him. And he's requiring 2 to 3 guys to block him out.
Berman underneath, kick out, Parker. Air ball.
Parker's got to cut there. That's not his shot. On that drive, he's got to cut baseline. He's done a really good job catching and finishing on the move. I don't know if spacing the floor and three-point shooting is his strength.
Even a shot fake there, right? Shot fake and drive it because Duncombe had to come out on him.
It's catch it on the move and go. You don't need to stand around on the perimeter. That's just not your strong suit.
5 on the timer. Tipped around.
This is what we talked about, Jeff. I think it's got to be in Barry's hands. Put it in Seven's hands and live or die with it.
Berman, there he is for the lead. Off the mark.
You got to be okay with that. That's a wide open look. Great unselfish play by Chris Ashby. He had a look, gave it to Berman for a better look, just didn't knock it down.
Winthrop fans to their feet. 80 seconds to go.
Go make a play. Go make a play.
Duncombe to the bucket.
There it is. You don't have to make the shot, but you got to make the play. Put the ball in Barry's hands and live or die with it.
Queens, 6 for 28 today from 3.
Big possession here. You don't need a 3.
Less than a minute to go. Ashby, his foot was on the line, and it's around and out. Winthrop can take some time.
I don't know if that's the shot you needed right there, Jeff. Down 3. Big possession here. You got to get a stop if you're Queens.
Winthrop with 1 timeout remaining. Rozier, he's tripped up and he'll go to the line.
Great job by Rozier there. Coming off the ball screen with the great pass there. The Duncombe with the lay. And that middle ball screen, they don't want to switch a smaller guard on him. And great job there by Rozier, just turning the corner and drawing the foul.
And that's Avante Parker's 5th foul. He's out of the game, a double-figure scorer.
Big free throws here. Just needs one to make it a 2-possession game.
Rozier. Now 3 for 3 from the free throw line. Huge free throw.
Yeah, this is what you want from him.
And Queens, they have 2 timeouts remaining, now just 1. What a terrible time for Queens to go cold. They have not scored in the last 3:28. They've missed their last 4 shots from the field. And when everything had been going right for Queens, they just haven't really been able to make the plays down the stretch, Randolph.
They hadn't. I mean, Chris Ashby has struggled from behind the three-point line. He's 3 of 12 from the field and 2 of 11 from the three-point line, and he's really struggled. He's got to figure out a way when he's, make it more of an impact on the game when he's not knocking down threes. I know that's a big part of what you do, but he's got to involve himself in the game on the offensive end, more when he's struggling from behind the three-point line, because that's going to happen often, even as great a shooter as he is.
As a team, Queens is 6 for 29 from 3. Winthrop just a little bit better. They are 8 for 25.
Plenty of time here. If you're Queens, you got to come down. You don't worry about the shot clock. You either take a quick 2 if you can get it. I thought that's what happened in the last possession. They settled for a 3, down 3. Same scenario presents itself again. You don't have to shoot a 3. You're probably going to have to look at free throw line. In the huddle right now, they're discussing who's on the floor and who can I foul. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Prosser calls a foul, a timeout after a basket to get his better free throw shooters in. But he's got Wilson. He has Rozier on the floor right now, and both of those guys, you want those guys getting open and getting the ball.
So 1 more free throw here for Kareem Rozier, the Duquesne transfer.
And he's only 71%. That's good, not great. And now, 35 seconds left. Can he be clutch?
Hits them both.
Got to go quick here. You don't have to take a bad shot, but you need to take a...
Looking maybe to run something around the perimeter. Time ticking.
They're switching.
Berman.
You just got to go make a play.
Step back for 3. It's short.
That's
trying to track down the board.
Yeah.
And a foul. And it's starting to slip away from Queens as Winthrop can feel it. up by 5.
The last 2 possessions, you didn't have to have 3. When you take threes like that, you're essentially deciding the game. If they made a 3, it would have looked great. It would have been a 2-point game. But if you had drove the ball to the basket, you could have gotten a foul, stopped the clock, or scored a 2-point basket and still held it to a 1-point possession. I mean, 1-possession game, and now it's anything short of a miracle for Queens to pull this out now.
And it was supposed to be Isaiah Wilson shooting the free throws. Rozier stepped to the line, and the Queens coaching staff caught it.
Great job of coaching there.
And he rattles in at first free throw. He was a 68% free throw shooter last season.
Queens coaches knew that and saw that, and Rozier stepped up to the free throw line like, hey, I'll take him. Officials didn't catch it, but the bench caught it.
7-point game. Queens has to go quick. They'll need a 3.
Yeah, now you got to take your threes now, and you didn't have to earlier.
Got poked away. Could be an exclamation point here for Winthrop. They'll just pull it out. And that's how the college basketball season gets started. Winthrop, a 7-point winner over Queens.
If college basketball is going to have games like this to start the season off, it tells you the type of year we're going to have. What a game. 2 well-coached teams played extremely well. Winthrop just a little better down the stretch in their execution, and they're starting the season off 1-0.
How about Dalen Berry? 23 points for the redshirt senior to lead all scorers in this game. 5 boards to go along with it, a couple of threes. Dalen Berry leading the way for Winthrop here on opening day.
He was really good earlier, and he was strong at the end, and he was a closer. I mean, I know Rozier knocked down the free throws, but when the plays and baskets had to be made around the 2 to 3 minute mark, it was Berry who made those plays, and no one's surprised. That's why he was preseason second team all Big South.
So Bradley and Bonaventure about to come back to the floor to get started for their warm-ups before their 11 a.m. tip. And some discussion going on here post-game between the 2 coaching staffs. Not sure if maybe there was something there in the handshake line, but now the team's going back to their locker rooms. And Jeff Goodman is over on the side with the game's leading scorer, Dalen Berry.
All right, Dalen, 23 points, your first game at Winthrop. I know it's been a long road for you to get here, but you wanted to come to Winthrop to play for a winning program. What did it mean to get the win in the first college basketball game of the season?
I mean, it felt good. It's the first game of the season. I'm glad it was a nail-biter for the fans. I'm glad we got the win. I mean, it means a lot. I mean, shout out to my teammates, Coach Prosser and everybody else on the coaching staff, so it was good.
What was the key? Because obviously you got off to a good start. They came back, took the lead. It looked like they had a little bit of control. What was the key down the stretch, you guys pulling it out?
Just stay poised. The main thing for us was just getting stops. We were giving up a lot of layups throughout that run, so I mean, keeping them out the paint, rebounding the ball, we knew we would come out on top.
You get any sleep last night?
Had to. We had to get up at 6 o'clock. Had to go to sleep. A lot of sleep.
How cool was it, though, playing in the first game of the season this year and having everybody watch?
That's a good way to start it off, right? No doubt.
Dalen Berry, congrats, man. Heck of a game. Keep it going, all right?
Thank you.
So that'll do it here for us to take a look at the rest of the schedule. Bradley and St. Bonaventure, that's coming up right here from Rock Hill at 11 a.m. Then we'll kick it out to South Dakota at 1:30 and 4 for Murray State and Omaha. Then Drake and Northern Arizona come back here to Rock Hill for 6:30. Furman and High Point. Then we close the day out in South Dakota State and Merrimack. That is at 9 o'clock tonight. Randolph Childress, before we get out of here, any final thoughts on the lid lifter for opening day?
I mean, just a great game. I mean, two highly competitive games. I know Queens is really disappointed, in losing the game, but they showed a lot of guts. They'll get better throughout the year. That team, it's not the last time you hear from that team all year long. They're really good, and what a win for Winthrop. Just Mark Prosser, just replacing pieces, a lot of production loss, but I think he's found himself with some really talented players on the roster that plays really hard and fits his style.
For David Harris in the truck, our producer, and the rest of our production crew, for Jeff Goodman to my right, and for Randolph Childress, I'm Paul Fritchner signing off. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. St. Bonaventure and Bradley set to go, but it's Winthrop 81-74 winners over Queens in the opening game of the college basketball